Hello and welcome to the Monocle Weekly. For today's show, I speak with Academy Award-nominated director Kaouther Ben Hania to discuss her more recent film, The Voice of Hind Rajab, a powerful and moving film that won the Grand Jury Prize at 2025's Venice Film Festival. The film centers in the story of a 6-year-old girl trapped in a car under fire in Gaza. Her name was Hind Rajab. Let's hear it from Kaouther. Kaouther Ben Hania, welcome to Monocle Radio. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me.
And your film, The Voice of Hind Rajab, it's a powerful film. It connected with audiences very much. My first question to you, of course, you found out about the story, I guess, when we did about 2024. At what moment in your life were you when you found out about the story? And did you quickly connect it and said, I have to do something about this?
I said I had to do something, but what is this something? I don't know. I was in this period of my life doing the Oscar campaign of my previous movie. It was nominated, actually, 4 daughters for an Oscar. But I was in the middle of this red carpet thing, and at the same time I was glued to the news, following what was happening in Gaza and thinking, all this is trivial, you know. What does it mean to be an artist or to be a filmmaker when the unthinkable is happening, you know, when reality is sometimes beyond imagination? And I was preparing another movie, actually, about to enter the pre-production that they've been writing for several years. And then I heard the voice of Hind Rajab. It was in social media, it was small extract, and she was begging for her life. And it's not like a normal thing to hear a child begging for life, you know. So when you hear it, you can't unhear it. You can't go with your daily stuff. And it impacted me in a very, very deep way. I was sad, I was angry, I wanted to shout, and I needed to do something, as I said. What is this thing, you know? What can I do? I can maybe do a movie, but it wasn't obvious in the beginning because it's a real story about a real child. So I needed to reach out to the family, to reach out to her mother, to see if she's like open to this idea. And I thought that I don't need only her approval, but I need also her blessing, you know. And her mother is just such a courageous, wonderful woman. She told me, listen, I want justice for my daughter. And if this movie can help in a way, because there is no accountability, you know, for the Israeli army. If this movie can make some pressure, can bring some justice to my daughter, please do it. So it started like this when she told me, please do it. Then I started the real work, you know, which is, you know, you have this strong emotion in the beginning. You want this emotion to be shared with the audience, but in between you have all the rational making decision, you know, of filmmaking, of creative choice, of technical choices. So you can convey or share with the audience what you felt as an artist.
And the film is quite unusual. I don't think it's a very straightforward film, you know, because you do use her voice in the film. I think that was probably your way to honor the young girl as well. I never seen something like this. That's a first, you know. So were you confident about that would work and that would be the best way to honor?
No, you are never confident when you are a filmmaker making a movie. You are eaten by doubt. But since it's not my first movie, and since I explored this kind of movie before, you know, 4 Daughters was like this. I did several movies like this. I did documentary, I did fiction. So I knew, you know, at least the set of tools that cinema can give me to tell an impactful story. I needed to tell an impactful story, but I needed also to be respectful because it's a sensitive thing to tell the story of the murder of a child, you know, finally, which is, it's a war crime and it's a shame and all those elements made it very, very tough. But for me, not doing it wasn't an option. So for the hybrid side, for example, since I made the choice to tell the story far from the car, since we have the voice, I made the choice to stay with my camera, with those who listened, those who did everything in their power to save this girl. And for me, it was the right place to be. But to make it in a pure documentary form, it wasn't possible because not all of the first responder wanted to be filmed. And so I told myself maybe the best way is to have another distance, which is to bring actor and to go back. This will give me the possibility not to tell something about, a story that happened in the past, but to do a movie in the present tense, like with the immediacy I felt when I heard her voice. So the actor gave me this, impactful and also distance, respectful distance. So I found the equation interesting, but also I was aware that when you bring actor on the table, maybe for the audience it will be synonym of something fiction, So that's why in the movie I wanted the contract with the audience to be very clear. Those are actors. They are portraying real people, and even those actors sometimes stop acting in the middle of the movie and they start listening to the voice of the real person, till this moment when the unthinkable happened, which is the bombing of the ambulance, where the actor disappears and we see the real person on screen.
Hello?
I see the film very much giving a voice to Palestinians. I say in a mainstream context because you are a very respected director and it's connecting. The film is doing well where it is released because I know there's some difficulties in some countries. Was that what you wanted perhaps? Because in the media, sometimes perhaps they don't actually have that space,
Yeah, I think that at least this is how I see the cinema I want to do. It should give voice to the voiceless. I mean, Rajab wasn't voiceless. She had a voice, but nobody wanted to hear it, especially, as you said, in the mainstream media. The Palestinians don't have the right to have pain or personal story or even faces, I heard in some mainstream media the killing of civilian qualified as collateral damage, which is a total dehumanization for Palestinians. But cinema can do something wonderful, and that's why I love cinema. It can, build up empathy, because you can feel what those first responder from the Red Crescent are facing, what is their life, you understand them and you feel for them. So suddenly the Palestinian that is forbidden to have a face and to have a voice, you connect with him. And this is, something very, very precious because it's a human connection.
Do you think, was there a risk, making this film? Because as I said, the film connected, but I wonder if the studios want to pick up a topic, because we see a lot of films about wars that have happened decades ago. This is now, right? So it's a very different making a film about the now than kind of with a historical context, right?
Yeah, I remember when I started talking and looking for money to do this movie, some told me, it's too early, it's too risky, don't tell it now. You should wait 10 years, like the movie you are mentioning, and then tell it, it will be history. And they was wondering, waiting for what? You think that there will be a trial, for example, there will be accountability. We know that we don't live in this world, So I needed to do this movie in the present tense now, right now, while the genocide is happening, because I thought that maybe this movie can be a tool, can be a way to be used to spread, to bear witness, but also to do something, to have some accountability, because we want peace, but you can't have peace when you don't have accountability or justice.
And when you don't, and sometimes I have to say, I think some people, they might not know all the details. They become desensitized with the new stories. And I think, and that's where I think your value as a director it is, because watching this film is a completely different experience, if you know what I mean, than watching a news bulletin very quickly on the BBC or any other channel.
Yeah, people, when they watch it, they often tell me, the movie changed me, you know. But you have some people who tell me, like, I'm afraid to watch it. It can be very hard, you know. And the movie is not hard. You know, you don't see one drop of blood in the movie. It's not graphic. It's about people in an office listening, you know, and talking with this little girl. It's not that hard. And I think we can't look away, like say, I don't want to watch it. We can't afford to look away. We need to bear witness, you know. And if it's hard, there are several ways to change things, you know. Everyone from his perspective, what he's doing, you can always do something about it.
Cinema should be uncomfortable sometimes, don't you think?
Yeah, because we think often about cinema as like entertainment, and it can be, but also cinema can be confrontational. Cinema should tell, you know, the difficult things. Cinema can be all those things and can bring us together. I often tell people, go in group, you know, watch it. So you can be supportive one to each other, you know, and you can talk about it after. I think it's the best way. I experienced it when we did several screening, and thanks God it's always sold out. Like, people come to the movie. When they are a group of person, it's make them like feel more, how to say, connected after the movie, to speak about it and to have like a debate around it.
They are shooting at a car with a little girl inside. Can you imagine that? So do something.
Thank you, Kaouther, and The Voice of Hind Rajab is out in cinemas now. The show is edited by Mariela Bevan, and I am Fernando Augusto Pacheco. Thank you for listening.